My way to Al, good morning, and how are you, faithful Captain Niner here with your Captain and Coffee Morning Report for January 21st, 2025. First off the bat, congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes, who beat the Irish last night to win the national championship. It's a really good game. Notre Dame had a little bit of a comeback coming, and then that field goal at the end pretty much sealed it for the Buckeyes. So, the Buckeyes returning to their national championship form, who more than likely you probably saw a player or two on that field, especially on the Buckeye side. That's probably going to be a 49er coming up in this next season. The Buckeyes were obviously led by Ryan Day, head coach, and then offensive coordinator Chip Kelly, which is funny if you think about those two positions and those two gentlemen, because back in 2016, the 49ers were led by then head coach Chip Kelly and co-offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach Ryan Day. So it's been about a decade. The two guys have switched positions, but they're still working together, and now they have a national championship underneath their belt. So congratulations to them. And like I said, we'll be seeing some of those guys here in the future. Let's go towards the Robert Saleh update. Obviously, we still don't know where he's going. Robert Saleh, this Friday, I can't remember if it's Friday or Saturday, he is going to be having a second interview with the Jags. The Jags seem to be pretty impressed with him. I don't know. Again, I know there's only 32 positions in as far as head coaching jobs go in the NFL. If Trent Baalke is going to be your GM, I would not want to be in any way, shape, or form have him be my GM if I was the head coach. So that's probably going to be one of the sticking points with that going into the negotiations. If Saleh is going to be the head coach. So we'll see. So again, like I said, that's another piece that we have to look forward to where I'm thinking Robert Saleh is looking less and less likely to be the defensive coordinator for us next season. And some of the other pieces are also starting to fall into place and taking other pieces off the board for us. So obviously Ben Johnson, who is an offensive coordinator, but he is reportedly, the deal is pretty much almost done, reportedly with him being hired on as the Bears head coach. And so with that is also the same reports are coming out saying that his first candidate to be his DC would be Dennis Allen. Obviously, Dennis Allen is the person I want the most to be the defense next coordinator for the 49ers. But like I said, we'll see how that goes. I mean, Dennis Allen obviously can go either way, but expect Ben Johnson to make a good push for him as his defensive coordinator, especially as a first-time head coach. You'd want someone like that. A couple of other ones. Obviously, Jeff Ulbrich went to the Falcons. And then Lou Armanu has been hired as the Colts DC. So again, two more guys who were on, at least me personally, that were on my list to become defensive coordinator, also taken off the board. So what does that leave us? That leaves us with Matt Eberflus, another person whose name I thought would be interesting. Deshae Townsend, still on the board. One person I talked about, and I've seen a few other people talk about, but doesn't get a whole lot of traction. Pete Carroll. I'd love to have us bring Pete Carroll in as a defensive coordinator in some way, shape, or form. I think he's, yes, he's older. He plays he's the godfather of the defense that we play now. He basically created, the Legion of Boom and everything like that. That's his defense. So it'd be interesting to see him come back and coach these guys. But, ladies and gentlemen, I have a sneaking suspicion that we already have our defensive coordinator, and he's been in-house. His name is Brandon Staley. I truly believe at this point this is Staley's job, minus anything happening to Saleh. I think it goes to Saleh first. If Saleh turns us down, we're just going to flip it over to Staley. So basically, we're just not going to do hardly any interviews. I still think not bringing some of these other guys in to be interviewed is a disservice. Look, and I understand Staley is not my first choice. By far, he's not my first choice. Although I do not have the absolute hate that some people seem to have for Brandon Staley. Yes, he failed as a DC, or excuse me, as a head coach. He was a fine DC, and I get this, so I don't understand the absolute. Like I said, it's just unreal the hate that you see for Staley. We don't even know exactly what he did behind the scenes, other than he was the ball czar for the 49ers. Other than that, we don't know how much he was involved in the defensively as far as putting together. We know he didn't call the plays. That was on Sorensen. So again, I don't understand some of the hate. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world for us to do with him. We could definitely do worse. He's just not my first choice. But we'll see. Maybe he has spent this last year instead of because he typically runs a 3-4 defense. Maybe he's been learning how to run a 4-3 wide 9 defense. That way, he can step away from being basically that Vic Fangio type of clone that he's kind of been known for throughout his career. Because again, if you ever wanted Vic Fangio as a 49ers head coach or at least defensive coordinator, Brandon Staley is about as close as you're going to get to being to being Vic Fangio. All right, so now let's move on to the special teams part of things. My personal favorite, John Fossil, not going to be coming to us. He has been hired by the Titans to be their special teams coordinator. And then also with yesterday, it's also been reported that, per Mike Silver, that the 49ers are not going to hire Sorensen as a special teams coach. So where exactly does that leave Sorensen with the organization in general? I don't know, because I don't think he was technically fired as a head coach or as a defensive coordinator. I think he was just told he wasn't coming back. So I don't think we've actually technically fired him yet. So do we fire him now? Do we move him back to being the ball czar? Do we make up another position for him because Kyle seems to like the guy? It'd be interesting to see how that turns out. However, I am hoping that this name is our next head still out there, Chris Tabor, who is formerly of the Panthers defensive. I need more coffee this morning. The Panthers special teams coordinator and interim head coach back in 2022. So hopefully they bring him in, hopefully soon, and we'll see his name being put out there. As far as Stay on Niner Faithful Radio, we do have our show today at 4:30. It's our Keep and Cut show. We're going to be going through the RFAs and UFAs, deciding who we would who would keep, and obviously it has nothing to do with salary cap or anything like that. Just who we would personally like to bring back. All right, faithful. Until today, 4:30 p.m. Niner Faithful Radio. See you guys later. Fafitai Te Lava. One love.